Deja. You tuned in to the hottest in the city. Nice smile and a light up a city. She got lifestyle, new hoes, she the realest. She dream big cause the city too small. If you watching, Deja Nicole. If you watching, this Deja Nicole.
Hey besties, so before I start today's video, this video is actually something special to me. It is also going to answer a lot of your questions that I have gotten in previous videos on what have happened to me and stuff. So this video is going to be my heart video, but before I start it, I will be posting it tomorrow on Tuesday, December 13th, which is actually the 18th anniversary of the day that this happened, the day I have died, the day that I have went into cardiac arrest, that I have died, basically the day of my rebirth. But before I start today's video, if any of y'all put any rude comments under this video, I will remove you from my channel to the point that you will not comment from my channel ever again, that you cannot view my videos, because I can do that, and I will also remove your comment as well. This video has a lot of people questioning on what's my heart disease about, what's about, you know, what happens, and I wanted to share this video. This video is also something special to me because I want to share my experience to y'all. This video is also going to be educational as well, because a lot of people do not know what congenital heart disease is and what's double out the right ventricle. But also I will be putting pictures in this video that that can get you in your feelings to the point that you might cry. So I'm putting this warning out right now. I am about to cry because this is very emotional to me. But yes, I will put pictures insert throughout the video, and also at the end of this video I will also have my mother on this video. She will not have her face shown because she does not want her face shown, but I will actually have a picture of us on the screen where she is telling on exactly what happened on December 13th, 2004, because I will just do when this happened. But like I said, if I get any rude comments, you will be banned from my channel and I will delete your comment. And also you've been warned that you will see some pictures of me unconscious, me with tubes all on me, on my nose and everything. You will see those pictures throughout the video and at the end of the video. So I am just putting that warning out now. And if I kind of stumble, stutter, because I'm nervous. I have told this story when I was younger in elementary. I have told people this story, but this is the first time I'm telling this story actually publicly online, because I want to spread awareness about congenital heart disease, because a lot of people do not know about congenital heart disease. And I will actually start off this video about what is congenital heart disease, what is double outlet right ventricle, and what is hypoleft heart syndrome, and everything that I have. Then you will get a feel of what it is before I start my story. But once I start my story, it's going to start out as, wow, she has been a lot and stuff. And yes, I have been through a lot at the age of 2. I was only 2 when this happened. I am 20 years old. This happened 18 years ago on December 13th, 2004. So any real comments about she's just using this for clout, this doesn't really this never happened to her. I got pictures and I got scars to prove it, and I'm going to tell you the medications that I take, because I got medications that I'm going to prove it. I'm not going to show my medications on here because I don't want to get this video taken down, because medication can be considered a drug, and I do not want this video taken down. So I will actually tell what the medication is and what it's used for my sake. And yeah, but I will not have no shout out winner for today's video. I will also bring out a little stuffed animal, which was actually something that was the third thing I saw, which you will see in the video. And I hope that you love this story. If you are someone out there with a congenital heart disease, please share this video. Please share this video to anyone. If you're a parent with a child with a congenital heart disease, a child or a teenager with a congenital heart disease, or even an adult, a young adult with a congenital heart disease, or if you know someone who has a congenital heart disease and they're so nervous, and they, especially as an adult, I hope that this video here gives you hope, because I'm going to give you tips on how I deal with my congenital heart disease on an everyday single daily basis as well. But let's just get on to this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And like I said, I am going to be crying. I might stutter and everything, but let's just get on to today's video, which is my heart story, which I really want to tell y'all for a long time. And I am not using this video for clout. I am not using this to get followers. I am to share my story because I am a miracle, because I would not be here at the age of 20 years old sharing my story with you. But let's just get on to my video, which is my heart story on how I have lost my life at the age of 2 and basically had to relearn, had to relearn everything, how I became blind and everything, plus how my mom felt and everything as well, which she will not be shown, but her voice will be heard. But let's just get on to today's video. So what is CHD? So like I said, I will be crying, I might cry, I might stutter in this video. But the first question that a lot of people ask me is, what happened to you? What do you have? So my first question is that I'm going to answer is, what is CHD? What is congenital heart disease? And also, what's the difference from a cardiac arrest and a heart attack? And a lot of other questions on why the medications is what I'm taking, how I became blind, how I became sick, what type of surgeries I had to take. So I will be answering most of those questions in what happened to me on December 13th, 2004, and a big project which I will be explaining at the end of this video as well. So the first question is, and sorry for the background noise, but the first question is, what is CHD? What is congenital heart disease, and why don't a lot of people know about it? So congenital heart disease is a heart disease that is present at birth. So meaning is I was born with a bad heart. There are no cure for congenital heart disease, which is kind of unfortunate, because our heart, besides our brain, helps our blood functions and also the oxygen flow through our body. So yeah, that's why I said it's kind of unfortunate there's no cure for it. If you have a congenital heart disease and you have to be where there's a point that you have to get a new heart, a heart transplant, that is, in some people's cases, they do have to get a heart transplant. I almost got a heart transplant, but my heart is fixed to the point it's supposed to work like a normal heart, but it's not a normal heart. But the people who had a congenital heart disease who got a new heart still have to get the checkups. So yes, congenital heart disease is a heart disease that is present at birth, and there is no cure for it. We have to take pills for it so we don't get another heart attack in some people's cases. In my case, I don't get another cardiac arrest. I have a list full of my medications, and I'm going to explain each and every medications that I take in this video as well. So why don't a lot of people know about congenital heart disease, and why is it defunded? Because congenital heart disease research and charity, there's not a lot of charity events that focus on congenital heart disease. There are, but there's not a lot, to the point that people should know about it. So what people don't know about congenital heart disease, that is common as an it's common like autism. Autism is common within a lot of kids, and congenital heart disease is also common in a lot of babies. About at least 5 babies are born with congenital heart disease every single month. So times that by 12. So some cases as well, the congenital heart disease can be easy to the point that it's to the point that the child can have a healthy life. But in some cases it can be more critical because they have a single ventricle, like in my cases, where that child probably needs more supervision, more checkups and stuff than another child with another congenital heart disease, but it's not severe like a single ventricle. So I have a single ventricle heart disease called double outlet right ventricle, which I will explain after I explain everything about congenital heart disease. There is like 18 known congenital heart disease, but a lot of people don't know about congenital heart disease because it's not affected by them. The only people I will say who knows about congenital heart disease is the patient itself, their parent, a friend that they told, and of course their family members. That any family members that they have told, because not every family member of mine knows that I have a heart disease, that I was born with a heart disease. But the ones that know and know my story and who are very close to me know some here and there about congenital heart disease. So why is congenital heart disease defunded? Why is it not funded like it should be? So like I said, it is common like autism, but the number of deaths of congenital heart disease within babies under the age of 1 is so high than with children with childhood cancer. That right there, that known fact that the deaths of congenital heart disease that's affecting babies from the age of 1 and below is more than any child who have died with childhood cancer. And the reason why is that because a lot of congenital heart disease are detected when it's in the womb of the mother. So when the doctor has detected a birth defect, because like I said, congenital heart disease is something that is present at birth. So when the doctor has checked, oh snap, there's something wrong with the heart, that can be a murmur, or that the heart is not developed right, or it has a hole in it, or it's just something wrong with the baby's heart, to the point that the mother has to give birth to the baby early, or they have to wait for the baby to be born, because something can happen within that time. So once the doctor has found the heart defect in the baby within the mother's womb, they can now schedule like appointments after the baby is born to fix the heart and this and that. So that's why a lot of people, and I'm so sorry for the noise in the background, but that's why a lot of so
I've heard the hallway.
A lot of people, that's why a lot of people with congenital heart disease, when they are first born, a couple of months, they have their first surgery, because that the doctors, when the doctor saw it, so they're cardiologists, the pediatric cardiologists that they was assigned to be called, they was born, and I'm so sorry, I had to scream because my brother's being too loud, but a lot of kids who have congenital heart disease have surgeries once that they are born. So that can be like the first surgery can be in Norwood or some type of open heart surgery. There's like so many surgeries, but mostly a lot of people, well, in my instinct, with single ventricle get this last surgery called a Vontan, which I will also explain because there's so many explanations. I have to like explain a lot of medical terms, medications, and all of that. in this video. This is why I said this video can be really educational, but also sad in both. So yeah. But in some cases, for the parents who have a child with congenital heart disease, but the heart disease was not detected while it was in its mother's womb, and they can have the surgery, but it could be too late after they have the surgery because it was not detected. And that is actually in most cases still happening to this day, to the point that these children live to 2 months, 3 months, like I said, under 1 year old. So that's why I said that the death is so high within congenital heart disease and childhood cancer, but a lot of people don't know about congenital heart disease, but they focus more on childhood cancer like leukemia. So why is that? Why don't people know about congenital heart disease? Why doesn't the government, why doesn't this whole United States know about congenital heart disease? Like, the heart is one of the #1 organs besides the brain. Well, a lot of people, what people don't know, that a lot of people, after they see their pediatric cardiologist, until the time they have to not see them because they reach an age limit, they don't have another doctor to see because there's not a lot of doctors to see patients with congenital heart disease. I am lucky that I do have an adult congenital heart disease doctor that actually worked with my pediatric cardiologist, but a lot of patients with congenital heart disease do not, because the whole world thinks just because we have our important surgeries and we take our medications that we have to take, we're all good. No, we are not all good. Something can happen to our heart to the point that we don't know what happened, and because we don't have the physician to check our heart every 6 months, for some people's needs actually every year now. It used to be 6 months, but 6 months to a year, we would never know. So that's why there's actually not a lot of congenital heart disease cardiologists, and I feel like that's not fair because we matter. Just because something in the internal is not working doesn't mean we can't still see a doctor. We still need to see a doctor. Just because we passed the age of 18, we're 18 and up, doesn't mean we can't see a doctor. No, we still need to see a doctor. And I feel like I might one day make a petition because I feel like that's not fair, you know. There's a lot of people, I know a lot of people because I am part of a lot of Facebook groups with congenital heart disease, which they probably don't have a cardiologist, or they have to stay with their pediatric cardiologist because they can't find another cardiologist, or they don't have a cardiologist for adults for congenital heart disease, plus they develop another heart disease because of the poor eating habits. So like, if you're someone with congenital heart disease, please advocate for yourself because that is very, very important. So now I have went in the statistics about congenital heart disease and what is about congenital heart disease. But now let's talk about my congenital heart disease. I actually have it on Google because, girl, it's just because I think I need to, but I can really explain what it is without looking on Google. I can't really explain the second one, so I have that on Google, but of course I have a picture here, you know, on the side of what my heart disease is. So what is double outlet right ventricle? So a double outlet right ventricle, or DORV for short or acronym, is a congenital heart disease which is actually rare. Yes, I said rare. A lot of actually congenital heart disease patients don't have that. There's a lot of other congenital heart disease like TOF that they have that, which is talented affalant. I think that's what it is, but I could be wrong. But TOF is actually a common congenital heart disease, but double outlet right ventricle, DORV, is not. So double outlet right ventricle is a congenital heart disease which the left ventricle is not developed and the right ventricle is basically doing all the work. So the difference between a left ventricle and a right ventricle, which you can remember, is that the left ventricle pumps rich oxygenated blood into your body, while the right ventricle pumps, I think this is last, but whatever, but the right ventricle pumps poor oxygenated blood into the body. So that means I'm not getting any rich oxygenated blood to my body at all, because I don't have a left ventricle. I have a right ventricle, which is doing all of the work, and I'm getting poor oxygenated blood to my body, meaning I can get dizzy really easily. My O2 stat can go low really easily, meaning I can get blue noses, blue lips, shivering. Literally, I have once when I was in high school. But that's what double-outlet right ventricle is. The reason why I say it's rare because not a lot of people have it. So hypo left heart syndrome, or HLHS, is a birth defect that affects the normal blood flow through the heart. So HLHS is affecting my blood flow to my heart. Like I said, I did get a procedure called the Fontaine procedure, which I actually got back in 2004 to help the blood flow go back to my heart, to my lungs, so I can get that good blood flow throughout my body. So yes, those are my two heart disease. HLHS, which is the second disease, heart disease I have, and double outlet right ventricle, which is the main heart disease that I have. So you're wondering like what happened, and I actually have my little friend here, which is actually a big part of this story. So you want to know what happened to me. If you want to know if I have a scar, yes, I have a scar there, which was cut open 5 times. But I'm going to tell you what happened. I have a full of tissue here and some water, but let's just get on to this story time. But I hope that this first part of this video gives you an intake on everything about congenital heart disease, because I said it would be educational at first before I tell my story. And I will also have an Instagram post as well the day that this video is being posted, so tomorrow, Tuesday, December 13th. So I actually had surgeries before this even happened. So my mom and my own doctor, my pediatric cardiologist, didn't really know what happened, like what could have happened, because I had surgeries beforehand. So December 13th, 2004, I have died. I'm gonna explain, but yes, December 13th, 2004, I have died. And a lot of people, when they see me when I was telling my story and I told people like I've died before, you know, they make jokes, but this video is for so many purposes. So at the time, my mom was in the army. She's gonna tell more story, like she's gonna be more detailing because I was young. But at the time, my mom was in the army, and this was probably a couple of months before she got out. But yes, I was a military child, but she was taking me to daycare, what she told me. And she also told me that I was not myself. My lips were turning blue, and I will have pictures just randomly popping up of the days I was sick, that you can see the days before I was sick before December 13th, 2004, and the days the day of, the day after, of me in a hospital bed. And she said I wasn't breathing, I wasn't conscious, I was just not breathing. I was in my car seat. So she said she took me out out of my car seat to do CPR. She already called 911, but to her, I was not breathing for at least 30 minutes. And actually, when I was looking at my medical notes, it did say I was not breathing. I was not alive when the ambulance came either. So I have went into a cardiac arrest that day. I was 2 when it happened, and it's weird, you know, when you have the surgeries that you needed and this happened. It's weird. And I was young, I was little, I was 2. This is, you know, the stage of me have to learn everything, words, how to, you know, do this or do that and all of that. No, me at the age of 2, it was basically me in the hospital around the end of 2004. Because I turned 2 in 2004, I was born in 2002. So, I was not breathing. I actually did became sick. Like I said, I will put pictures, but I became sick prior to this day. So, yes. And, I went into a cardiac arrest. It's just something I, you know, yes, it's something, it's really hard to talk about this, but I did went into a cardiac arrest, like I said. And when I got there, the doctors, you know, they did the surgery that they needed to do. My doctor, you know, my old cardiologist, my pediatric cardiologist, said, like, every time he, you know, I would go to appointments, he was like, you know, it's a good thing you're healthy, because then, you know, you wasn't healthy. He didn't know what happened to me. You know, with me having a congenital heart disease, it's really hard, you know, because, you know, you have to advocate. Like, when I was, like, in middle and high school, I would tell my gym teachers to, not, like, I can't run, because this can happen, that can happen, this and that, because it's like, they can't see it. But after my surgeries, I became blind. I lost my eyesight. So, like, what people don't know is that there's a difference between a cardiac arrest and a heart attack. A heart attack is a blockage in your artery that's in your heart. A cardiac arrest means your heart completely stops and you're dead. You can die from both, but a cardiac arrest means your heart completely stops, no brain activity, because I did suffer brain damage, and I have suffered brain damage because of this. So I was dead for about 30 plus more minutes. And every time I look at my pictures with me, myself, 2 years old, bloated, because I was bloated a little. I cried, because it's just like, wow, I almost didn't make it, because the doctors didn't know that I could have make it, you know, and then I did, and then I became blind, so I lost my eyesight. And I was actually, by the time I lost my eyesight, I was transferred from Vanderbilt Children's Hospital to Atlanta, Atlanta Children's Hospital, and that's where they transferred me. And when I was at that hospital, so a football team called to my mom gave me this. Her name is Zoe. She's from Sesame Street. If you have watched Sesame Street, then you can, when you was little, you can like recognize her. But this was actually the 3rd thing that I saw once I have regained my eyesight. It's really hard to talk about this. It's because I was young, and that's why I'm bringing my mom in, but I won't show her face. But at first I did lose my eyesight, and they didn't believe my mom. didn't believe her when they told her that I got it back. Because, you know, a lot of people, I feel like when a medical miracles happen, the doctors think they know it all. But if you have your trust in God, then everything, I mean everything happens for a reason. And the first thing I saw was a wooden rooster that was owned by the hospital. The second thing I saw was a SpongeBob balloon, but I pointed out each character on it. And like I said, this is why I still have her to this day. 20 years old, still have the stuffed animal. It's the third thing I saw. She is going to be 18 soon, like 18, meaning I have gotten her in 18 years. But she is the third thing I saw, and I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful I can see. I'm grateful that I can share my story. But this story is going to be more expanded in a few minutes. More details, because like I said, I was just two. I can remember what my mom told me, but she knows everything. So I will bring her in. She will not have her face shown. I will have probably a picture, slideshow going on while she's saying it, pictures of me, and then I will come back at the end of the video. But I would say, if it wasn't the faith of God, my mom's faith, God's word, I would not be here sharing this story. I wouldn't be here at the age of 20 years old doing what I want to do, following my dreams and stuff, fighting for anything, you know, for the things I want, meaning, you know, persevering. So I'm going to get my mom. She's going to share the whole story because she remembers more than me. And I will close down this video after that. But like I said, if there's any rude comments, I won't delete them. I will block you from my channel. But I probably cried a little. I don't really want to cry, that's why, but I probably will cry once I'm editing this video. But let's just welcome my mom, Miss Tia. And yeah, her face will not be shown. She does not want that, but I will have a slideshow playing. But let's just get my mom to tell the story.
I'm Tia, Deja's mom. In December of 2004, the week before the 13th of December, she was sick. I thought it was just a regular cold. I remember taking her outside to play, and her eyes were a little puffy, and she was coughing and everything. And I remember saying that I was probably going to take her to the doctor's that week. So that night, December 12th, she just tossed and turned all night long. She couldn't get comfortable. She couldn't sleep. That morning, when we got up on December 13th to get ready for work, I had told her dad that I was going to go ahead and take her to the doctor's that morning because she just had a real restless night. And all she did was want to drink water. And she was really, really thirsty. And she was just laying around and just not herself. So I got her brother ready to take him to daycare. And I got her ready to take her to the doctor's. And her dad had got ready because I was going to drop my son off at daycare. I was going to drop her dad off at work. And then me and Deja were going to go to the doctor's. So I put her brother in the car. And I put her in the car. And I buckled her in the car seat. And when I got in the car to start it and let it warm up, her dad was on his way out the door. She had screamed a really loud, high-pitched scream. And it made me turn around. And when I looked at her, I realized that she looked like she couldn't breathe well. So I rushed. I took her out the car. And I gave her to her father, and I said I was going to get my son out the car and I was going to call 911. So as I'm calling 911 to tell them my child looks like she's having problems breathing, I got my son out and brought him aside. As I'm talking to 911, her dad tells me that she's not breathing. And I tell the lady, the dispatcher, that my daughter is not breathing. Where is the ambulance? Where are the emergency personnel? Where are they? She said that they're coming. So he's calling my name. He's saying, T, she's not breathing. She's not breathing. So I hand him the phone and I take her from him and I put her on the floor. And at that moment, I just was able to be calm and give her CPR. And after every breath that I gave her, I just started saying, thank you, Jesus. I'd give her a breath and pump on her heart. And I say, thank you, Jesus. And I just kept doing that until EMS got there. Once they got there, they came in and they took over. They took her inside the ambulance. And they told us that they were going to take her to Gateway Medical Center. And so they said we can follow behind them. And so we put my son in the car. We got in the car and we drove there. When we got there, we didn't know where to go, but we had went to the emergency room and we were looking for her. And her doctor, her pediatrician had came because I guess they had caught him because it's on file, the information for the pediatrician. And he came out and he told me that he had them airlift her to Vanderbilt. They said they were able to get her pulse back right before they had got to the hospital, but they went ahead and airlifted her to Vanderbilt. So we drove to Vanderbilt, and when we got to Vanderbilt, we went to the emergency room, and they didn't know where she was. And we started panicking, but somebody finally found her, and we were able to go to where she was. And eventually we got to talk to her cardiologist because they had called her cardiologist to where she was so that he can examine her and figure out what was going on. And they had came and they asked me what was wrong, what happened, what did you do? And I said I didn't do anything. She wasn't feeling well, but she wasn't like this. This just happened like overnight. And it was then that they realized over the next couple of hours that her lungs kept filling up with fluid. They would get the fluid off her lungs and they fill right back up with fluid. So that's when they realized that it was nothing that I had done. So after they got her stable, they let me know that she had brain damage. It was like, I think they described it as a watershed type effect, where it affected all her brain except for her brain stem. So she was able to breathe on her own, but everything else with her was affected. So we were there from December 13th to February 1st. And while we were there, and after she woke up, Deja was blind. She couldn't hold her arms and legs up. They weren't straight, they were postured. She couldn't hold her neck up by herself. She was almost like a big newborn baby that couldn't see. She had to be fed on a feeding tube. She couldn't chew. She didn't know how to swallow anymore. So I was told that it was going to be a very long process. They weren't sure if she was going to get her vision back. They weren't sure if she was going to be able to walk again. They weren't sure of anything. they just said we had to give her brain time to heal. So over the next couple of weeks, they taught me how to put the feeding tube in and out. They started therapy with her, just working on her arms and legs, because they were, like I said, they were postured. So they tried to, start some physical therapy, and I think they call it eating therapy or food therapy, whatever it is. So they're working on her, trying to get her to swallow before they can take the feeding tube out. So they went from using a straw to trying to use a cup. We spent Christmas there, and by that time she was able to talk. She started talking. And it was then I realized that her memory hadn't been affected, because she was asking me what happened to her eyes, and she was letting me know that she couldn't see. She was asking questions, and she was singing and saying her ABCs and different things like that. So that's how I knew that, okay, so her memory's hasn't gone. She's good there, and she's talking again. But again, she wasn't able to see. She wasn't able to eat yet. She wasn't able to walk. She wasn't able to hold things. And then toward the end of January, they told us that we would be going to the Children's Hospital in Atlanta for physical therapy and occupational therapy, a rehab center that they have there for children. So February 1st, we went there, and when we got there, they showed us around, told us what we would be working on, introduced us to the different therapists. They kind of held like a meeting for us to meet everyone. And I remember saying that I was going to fast and pray every day while I was there. And I remember saying this to God, that I'm going to fast and pray for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I want my baby to be able to see again. I remember saying that. And so when we had finished with the meeting, the nurse had told me that the room that we were staying in, a little boy had lost his sight, but he had got it back. And so, that gave me a little hope. And so as she worked with the physical therapist and the occupational therapist, I continued to fast and pray. I checked her sight every day. They had shown me the difference in her pupils and how I could know if she was able to see and different things like that. So I was just checking that every day. I kind of got obsessed with it. But again, I fast and prayed, and every day I would check. I would ask her if she could see certain things, and she would tell me no. And then one day we were doing physical therapy, and I had a rooster. And she was acting like she was afraid of the rooster, which I wasn't sure how she could be afraid of it if she couldn't see it. So I had mentioned that to the therapist, and he had said, well, she may see shadows, and the rooster, his hair's a little crazy, so she may see some shadows. So I was like, okay. So then a couple of days later, there was a group of football players that had visited the hospital, and they had different stuffed animals, and I had grabbed this stuffed animal for her Sesame Street character. She was orange, and her hair was all over the place, and I had gave it to Deja, and I had held it up to her, and she was scared, like she could see, like she could really see this stuffed animal. And again, they told me that wasn't possible, that again, she probably was seeing shadows. And so at that point, I had stopped mentioning to them that I thought that she was seeing something. So the morning we got up, February 14th, we got up, and we were due to be discharged. They had done what they could do there, and what they were doing is discharging her and sending us back to Vanderbilt, sending us home, and then we would do outpatient at Vanderbilt. I was getting her ready, and I had went and bought her previously a SpongeBob balloon, and it was like, get well. And it was Patrick in the bed and SpongeBob standing next to Patrick. And I asked her if she saw SpongeBob. And she said yes. And I told her to point to him. And she pointed to SpongeBob. And SpongeBob wasn't in the place where she could just point to him. She had to literally like point over Patrick to point to SpongeBob. And so at that moment, I knew that she could see. And I didn't even really say anything to anyone because they were constantly telling me that it was my imagination or it wasn't what I thought it was. And from that day, February 14th, 2005, her vision has gotten better to now she doesn't have any vision problems like that from the brain damage. She's had to go through years of physical therapy after that, occupational therapy because she had to learn how to brush her teeth again. She had to learn how to write again. She had to learn how to walk again, crawl again, hold a fork, hold a spoon, hold up her head. She's had to relearn how to be her, and she did it. She's overcome that. So I kind of think of December 13th as her second birthday because I lost her, but God gave her back to me. He gave her back to me December 13th, 2004, because I definitely could be telling a different story right now. But she's here. She can see, she can walk, she can talk, she can dance, she can write, she can sing, she could advocate for herself. She's doing videos, and she's doing amazing. So that is what happened to her on December 13th, 2004.
Besties, that was the full story from my mom's perspective, because like I said, I was 2, so I kind of know what she told me, but that right there is everything. So before I close on this video, I did say I will explain each surgery, well, one surgery, so the Fontan, and each medication that I take to know what it's for. So the first medication that I think everyone has heard of is aspirin. So aspirin is it's a beta blocker, meaning it prevents blood clots. So like I said, a heart attack is caused by a blood clot that is in your heart, so I have to take that to prevent blood clots. It's also a blood thinner as well, so like it helps prevent my blood clotting. So I do bleed easily, and I kind of hate being on blood thinners just because like when I'm on my cycle, yeah. But yes, aspirin is a blood clot, like prevent blood clots, and it's a beta blocker. That's what it's known for. It's called a beta blocker. So that's the first medication I take. The second medication I take is spolactone. So spolactone is a medication. It's a pill. My pill is like small, but it's like oval shape, and it actually helps treat high blood pressure. So just because of my heart disease, I actually do have high blood pressure than normal. So I take spolactone to actually help treat that, because you can actually die from high blood pressure. My normal blood pressure is around, if I want, around 120, 121, 122. That's kind of high. So when I was getting my blood pressure checked at Walmart, around the pharmacy, because they have like this blood pressure machine. It said high, but I was like, I know that's actually normal for me because I checked my medical, all my past pre-visits on the Vanderbilt app. So that is the second medication I take, which is prolactin, which is prevent high blood pressure. The third medication that I take is digoxin. It is called also a cardiac glycolysin, so that actually controls my irregular heartbeat, because I do have an irregular heartbeat. I have a heart murmur. A lot of people, I have noticed that a lot of people with congenital heart disease have heart murmur, and also heart murmur can actually run in the family, so that's basically an irregular heartbeat. I already actually knew about my heart disease when I was younger, and I knew I had actually had a heart murmur as well when I was younger as well, because like when I see nurses when I was in school, and I would go to nursing and they check my heart, they'd be like, you know, you have a irregular heartbeat. I was like, yeah, I have a heart disease and I also have a heart murmur. So that's what digoxin is used for. The fourth medicine, I take so many pills for my age, is I take like 5, but I actually take 6 because I have to take 2 out of 1 of them. But the fourth medication that I take, which is known as Lasix, if you have heard that medication, it is called Furosemide. It treats fluids. If you have heard my mom, I have gotten fluids filled up in my lungs multiple times. They thought it was her, that she did something for me to go into cardiac arrest and to get sick, but no, it was fluid that was going into my lungs. So Furosemide actually helps me not have water weight, to not actually have any fluid in my lungs or just sitting in my stomach that shouldn't be there. And also with the Fontan surgery, which I will also explain after I explain all my medications. I don't know if you have seen, like in most of my videos when I'm sitting, I look like I should have lose some weight, but I'm not trying to be rude like to myself and stuff, but no, it's just I'm skinny. I'm naturally skinny, but around my waist, my stomach area, it looks bloated. I'm not bloated. I actually can be bloated when I'm on my cycle, but I'm not always bloated. I actually have an enlarged liver due to my Fontan surgery because it affects the liver, and that's why I see a liver doctor for my liver to make sure I don't have liver disease, because it is enlarged a little. But Furosemide, like I said, it helps treat and prevent any like liquid, I would say fluids that shouldn't be there, so in my lungs, so I don't get that. So I take my Furosemide, and I take this every day. I have to take some, I think it's prolactin with food, so I take this all together. So yes, it just helps prevent fluids inside of me in my lungs. And then my last medication that I actually started last year is called Tavil. It actually controls my not control, but it actually helps me improve my blood pressure, because sometimes my blood pressure can go really low, and my pediatric cardiologist actually noticed that my blood pressure was low because when I had to do a stress test, which is a test that if you are a cardiac patient, you would know what this is. But for any cardiac patient, if you know that if you have a congenital heart disease or a congenital heart failure, which is a heart disease, that heart failure basically when you get old or you eat unhealthy or if you never exercise. But I had to do a stress test, and when he got the results back, he was like, yeah, there's something wrong. It's not too bad, but it's just like your blood pressure control is not what it should be, so I'm gonna like put you on Tavil and see and monitor you that, so it just helps improve my blood pressure as well. And I also take iron supplements. That's just because I'm anemic, and that actually can be so common in black women, but that's not the point. If y'all was ever wondering, do I have congenital heart disease in my family, the answer is no, I do not. Even though my great-grandfather did pass away through a heart attack that was due to his poor eating habits. But no, I'm not the first one that I know of in my family. If I ever do an ancestry or 23andMe, I will probably do a video, but as of now, as unknown, I'm the first one in my family, in my generation, to have a congenital heart disease. You can also ask me any questions in the comments, and I would for sure love to answer them. Another question, if you was ever wondering, can I ever have kids? The answer is it can be risky. I have talked to my new cardiologist back on Halloween about having kids, and he said I can, but there can be risk. He said I can have a good pregnancy, or he said I can have so many miscarriages and have a risky pregnancy, meaning like it's risky for me and the baby. Even though it's risky altogether, I can actually have a healthy baby who's not born with congenital heart disease, and I can be healthy. Or it can be risky, and a lot of people with congenital heart disease who are women actually do have more miscarriages than women who do not have any congenital heart disease. So if I ever do want a child in the near future, I will have to talk to my cardiologist about that. Another question I might get asked, can I ever like drink, or can I smoke, or can I be around people who smoke? The answer is no, I can't drink, because my liver is already enlarged and is affected because of my Fontan procedure, which was actually my last procedure. So no, I can't drink. Plus, if I drink, it would make my liver worse, and I don't want another health problem on top of my heart. Even though I have asthma, it's not that bad, so like on top of my heart, and I don't want to replace my liver, and I shouldn't be drinking with a heart disease at all. There's some people who have heart disease that drink, but they drink like a White Claw because low alcohol content, but still, no, I cannot smoke. I don't even actually don't like people. I feel like people who smoke, especially cigarettes, yeah, like if you smoke any, no matter if it's weed, cigarette, cigar, e-cigarettes, if you know what I mean, yeah, that can actually do so much damage to your heart, and I can't even be around people who do that because of that reason. So secondhand smoking is a big no-no for me. Thirdhand smoking, meaning if you go to someone's house and you can smell the smoke, and through their clothes, through the walls, through the furniture, you can still get cancer or some type of other disease with third-hand smoking. So no, I cannot. But no, so no, pregnancy I can, but I have to ask, and it can be risky. I cannot drink, and I cannot smoke. Can I run? And why do I exercise with a heart disease? So can I run? The answer is to my limit. I can actually do anything, and that includes working out to my limit. It's actually preferably recommended for adults with congenital heart disease to work out. If I do not do a full workout, I try to walk. I have stairs in my house. Boom, that is workout right there. But yes, I have to work out. Is recommended by my cardiologist. And what a lot of people, I feel like, but a lot of people with congenital heart disease, they're scared to work out because they're scared to have another heart attack or cardiac arrest, or just any chest pains that can be with their heart, because heart attack, you can get chest pains, but it's recommended because it actually helps straighten your heart and the oxygen that's going through your heart and going through your lungs. So yes, I can work out, yes, I can run, but I don't recommend myself running. And yes, like I said, I have to do it in my limit. Another question, I will not answer a lot of questions, but another question you might ask is, have I ever felt so insecure about my scar, my surgical scar? And yes, I have when I was younger, because I hate it when people point it out and they assumed right, but I just didn't like it, especially middle school. About my heart, and they asked me like, you had heart surgery, did you? And I was like, yeah. So yes, I used to not like to talk about my scar, but now I embrace it because my scar tells my story. I am planning to write a children's book about my scar. So that is a project that I'm working on. Another project that I'm working on as well, now that I'm talking about projects, is I am planning to start a nonprofit organization called Dangerous Heart Foundation, which you can actually follow the Instagram in the description box down below. I will put that there. Yes, I'm planning to do a nonprofit organization. I don't know when it will be official nonprofit, but I'm hopefully next year to do a blood drive and a toy drive to spread awareness about congenital heart disease in October of next year. So that is my goal. I'm actually working on every detail right now. So whenever that gets too close, probably the summer is when I probably, maybe the fall, not summer, but like August, I'll probably put out more information about it. Late July, early August. But yes, I'm planning to start a nonprofit called Dangerous Heart Foundation to raise money for research for congenital heart disease, because research for congenital heart disease is defunded, and to help families who are who don't have the money for their child to get medication and to get surgeries that they need, who has congenital heart disease. I actually have to pay for like one medication that I take. The rest is free due to my insurance, but some parents and some families do not have health insurance because of for their child with a congenital heart disease. So this will help them get what they need, the health, the care, and everything that they need. So yes, Dangerous Heart Foundation is a project, excuse me, but it's a project that I'm working on this moment right now. But if you have any other questions about my heart, please besties, put them down in the comments. I will for sure answer them. I might not answer them all, you know, right away. If I have to think about it, I have to think about it. I like it and I go back and comment if I know the answer. But yes, but now I just will explain the Fontan procedure with y'all. So the Fontan is literally mostly the last surgery that a lot of single ventricle and cardiac patients who have a congenital heart disease have to get. Is actually the last surgery. So the Fontan procedure helps lead the flow of the blood to the lungs without passing through a ventricle that's in the heart. So it's going through the lungs without going through the heart. So it's like this whole thing. I think, now that I think about it, hold on, I think I have it. I'm gonna show y'all. Okay, so like here, I don't know if you can see, but like here is my diagram of my heart from a heart catheterization, where they had to put a stent through my groin area to see. So basically, it's just, I would say it's going through here, but it's not going through my heart. So it's like it's going through here, according to my old cardiologist, my pediatric cardiologist, it is going through here to my lungs without going through my heart. The good thing now this is here because yes, but I will have pictures throughout this video about my heart, and you will see. But I really do, I hope that this video, to all my subscribers who's wondering, especially when you saw my first video, how I got fired for my disability. Boom, I got fired due to my heart disease, which is my disability. But I really do hope that this video explained a lot of who I am as a person and why I am how I am, and you know, why I talk about my heart disease here and there, but I don't really tell you the full story until now. But I do hope y'all share this story because it will spread awareness with and about congenital heart disease. I hope that you like this video. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments down below. I am planning to do probably more videos about my congenital heart disease and stuff, and probably do like a live where y'all see me taking my pills and stuff, like not like that, but like, you know, what is like a day in the life, but like me taking my pills and why I have to take these pills and how many pills I take and stuff. And maybe if I could one day take on along to a doctor's appointment, but I don't know. But I have to ask. But I hope that you like this video. I hope that, like I said, I hope y'all know so much about me just based on my health history, my medical histories. You know, I'm a 20-year-old girl who has a bad heart, but I have a big heart, and I persevere. And I feel like if it wasn't for that little girl, that 2-year-old me who didn't prove doctors wrong, I wouldn't be here doing this video. If it wasn't for me to, you know, prove doctors who got their PhD, MD, to be exact, I wouldn't be here. You know, if my mom didn't notice I was in myself, I wouldn't be here 20 years old doing this video like she said. But I'm just like really grateful that I'm doing this video for y'all and I'm telling y'all my story. But I hope that y'all like this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, like I said, share this video please. It will give some parents who has dealing with a child with congenital heart disease hope. But hope y'all have a nice and lovely day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow my social media. I will definitely have a post on my Instagram about this as well. But hope you have a nice and lovely day, guys, and bye. And if you ever want to know when CHD awareness, before I shut down this video, if you ever want to know what CHD awareness like month is, it's actually mid-February. I don't know. I think the 10th, the 12th, or the 10th to the 14th. It's like a week. No, February 7th through February 14th is CHD, so congenital heart disease awareness week. I don't like that we get a week. We should get the whole month. And I want to send a petition, and I want to send a petition about just for congenital heart disease and everything one day. So like, I want to make congenital heart disease known. But now I'm gonna shut down this video. But I hope you have a nice and lovely day, besties, and remember to be you, go after your dreams, and don't give up, because I hope, you know, I'm gonna say this, you only have one life to live. Literally, you have one life to live, so do not give up. Do not give up on your dreams. It's not gonna happen overnight. Keep working towards your dreams. Do not give up. I am lucky to have a second chance to live, but you don't. Life can be like this and like that. So do not take it for granted. Do not give up on your goals, and keep going after them. No matter who say you can't do it. Like, I'm gonna tell you this. This racist English teacher who is going to lose her job, who told me I can't do anything in college, that I'm stupid. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I passed her class with a C, but you call me stupid. Wow. Well, I'm not that, so that would be a future story time on everything, because that is still going on. We are trying to get this settled out. But for real, do not give up on your dreams, because you do not have a second chance to live. So if you have that one business you want to start, do it. If you have a YouTube channel you want to start, do it. If you're already doing a YouTube channel but you're not getting a number of views, you're getting still promote it, still post it. is 1 year videos is gonna get you big time. Like, I'm stuck at 7 something, but I'm not gonna give up. Stuck at 784, I think, or 85 subscribers, but I ain't gonna give up. Keep going after your goals. But bye, besties. Have a nice day, no matter where you are. Nice day, nice evening, nice night, nice morning, and I hope you're having a nice and lovely day today, because I saw that some of my subscribers are in the UK today. So no matter where you are in the world, I hope that this story inspire you or someone who has congenital heart disease, or if you want to work as like someone in the heart with kids with hearts, you know, you can tell this story to, like, I saw this YouTuber and stuff, because that's why I want to become a pediatric nurse. So yeah, and I hope you have a nice and lovely day today, and bye, guys. Bye.
This Deja, Nicole. This Deja, Nicole. You tuned in to the hottest in the city. Nice smile, to the light up a city. She got lifestyle, new hoes, she the realest.